Introducing a new podcast. Karen Hunter is awesome.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.
Karen Hunter is awesome. A new podcast from Karen Hunter.
Let me just tell you, avoiding everything that's on TV right now was much harder than I expected. Let me tell you, so y'all all know that I stopped watching.
It is a big deal, even though we obviously share the same political feelings. It is, it is a big deal. Like it's a big deal it's a sadder deal. I think it's both a big deal because it's an inauguration, but it's also sadder than the normal inauguration.
I refused to watch it, but it was hard to not. So I stopped watching the NFL after I was clear that they are committed to the empire of racism. And I said, okay, so Colin Kaepernick can't get a job, but this, you're okay with all of the plantation type, yes, they're multimillionaires, these plantation workers, but there's still the mentality that, black people can't coach and all of this. Now we got all these black quarterbacks for so many years, black men couldn't quarterback. Now we're going to have, I think, I know what's going on, but I haven't watched any. And it's tough because I grew up in a football family. My godmother, when I was growing up, was a Cowboys fanatic. So I was raised up on, Calvin Hill and Roger Staubach and Tony Dorsett.
Who went to my high school. Grant Hill's father went to my high school.
Did
Calvin
he?
Hill.
So, and I was in 3 fantasy football leagues, including one with SiriusXM, and I was killing it, doing very well. I was succeeding, and that makes you more invested when you're in a football league because you got to know the stats and the players and the injuries. So for me to not watch football, something that I love, I started my career covering sports, was a sacrifice, right? That once I said it, I had to stick with it. And there's parts of it, it's like, oh man, the halftime Usher, the halftime Kendrick Lamar. I was like, I'll catch it on social media. But this was tough. This was tougher than not watching football. For some reason, it was like, I can't. I was like, turn on even Hulu, and it's there, like live. Right. I was like, I'm going to watch this Martin Luther King thing. And for me, JL, yes, while I think the inauguration of a president is a big deal, and I don't know if anyone else feels this way, so y'all can call me, but I also feel like the validation of the demise of this nation, in many ways, I don't want to bear witness to it. It's going to happen, whether I watch it or not. So me protecting my peace, but also not giving it ratings, there's all of this I'm struggling with. As a matter of fact, AOC said it best. She ain't show up. She's a sitting congressperson who I'm sure was invited. She was like, I'm not going. Smith, play Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, representative from New York.
All these journalists are like, Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Are you going to the inauguration? Let me make myself clear. I don't celebrate rapists. So no, I'm not going to the inauguration tomorrow.
I hope Biden gave her a pardon on the way out. She gonna need a pardon. Oh my God. So JL, what's your thought?
Well, I have to admit, I haven't been as rigorous in my NFL boycotting. I've probably watched 3 Super Bowls since Kaepernick got bounced, but I gave up on football, I guess not 100%, but about 98% gave up on it. And then I realized I just
So what does that do? Wait, because I'm for agreements. I'm gonna be impeccable with my word. And I'm not saying you're not impeccable. I'm saying you're not impeccable with your word. Like it's almost like being a little bit pregnant. So I'm going to, I know I have gout, but I'm gonna have this little bit of meat today and this wine because it's one day and it's.
Because I skipped a few Super Bowls, and then my girlfriend wanted to watch the halftime show one year, and I made a joke about it. So I said, fine. We'll watch the halftime show and maybe 2 hours after the halftime show also. And I felt like I had like, my protest chastity belt had been broken. So I don't, for the same reasons that I don't I don't watch it anymore, is as much as there have been issues with individual cases of violence or abuse or this and that, it was the systematic nature of the blackballing that told me it's the league, it's the entity itself. It's not this guy did a bad thing, this guy did a bad thing. Like I remember I threw out my Ben Roethlisberger jersey, remained a Steelers fan, but when the accusations about him came out, but I didn't feel like I had to abandon the Pittsburgh Steelers. But when the Kaepernick thing happened, I thought it was like this is a stain on your entire entity. But the Super Bowl, there is this, I guess, this sort of mentality for me where it's like I don't make a plan to watch it, but it becomes this kind of cultural thing where you're on Twitter all the time, and that's all people are talking about. So you're like, what's happening? And then the halftime show, and then it's a close game. So like I said, I've watched since Kaepernick, I've watched, I guess, like probably 3 Super Bowls in the whatever amount of time that is. But I
3
can still
years.
sleep
No,
at
I'm just
night. I
playing.
feel like I've given.
You watched all of them. Yeah.
I
No,
think
I'm
I've given up enough where I'm like still not an NFL person anymore. And I realized I think half of it was the ritual of like on a Sunday eating bar food. And I can eat bar food
I get
without
it. But
football, but you start to
at what
associate
point?
the two.
At what point though do we take a stand, right? And listen, let me just I know that this is not popular, but I'm not here to be popular. I'm here
Mhm.
to be as righteous as I can be, me personally, right? And then I'm gonna share it with you. But I feel like and again, y'all 866-801-8255 that we have always given up the line, right? And so there's always, oh well, just this halftime. And so what is it
Right.
gonna be with this? Another stimulus check? Is it going to be, oh, he saved TikTok? So I saw a TikTok person that had like 3 million followers who was anti-Trump, da da da. And Sunday night, when TikTok came back or whatever, oh, well, maybe I'm going to support Trump after all. Maybe I was wrong. I was like, sir. So that's all it takes is for
Yes.
you got the clips, miss. Hold on, let's play it because this to me is America. People in this country stand for very little. And if they stand for anything, it's a selfish thing. It's selfish.
Absolutely.
It's self-centered. It's not we the people in order to form a more perfect union. It's not that. It's me.
Me,
As long
myself,
as
and I.
yes, as long as I'm good. Oh, I got this. The hell with everybody else. I got in the country today. Millions of people are crying who did everything they were supposed to do to come here legally. All of it is shut down. Today, if you are a trans person today, you no longer can refer to yourself as they or the opposite. Like there's an executive order saying there are only 2 genders. And listen, it's not my fight. It's not my fight, but it is my fight. Because if we don't stand up for people when it doesn't impact us, you know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't affect me at all. What happens with trans people? Except
Standing
when
up for
it's not
yourself
them,
is
it'll
not
be
is
me.
not
Right.
standing up for yourself takes some strength, but there's no generosity in that. I'm defending myself. I'm defending my people who I am. It's defending others that is what used to make this country great. It's John Brown taking a step away from white people that makes the difference, not John
Correct.
Brown doing
Correct.
status quo with white people and so on and so on. So it's who goes away from their group and defends people who are not in their group is the story of progress in this country. And I think you're completely 100% correct. I've been saying this to people where I go, the if JFK today had said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country, social media would be on fire going, you're the president. You work for me. I want you to do this. That
Right.
sense of sacrifice, of community, of a greater good. And I think you can point to a lot of things, and I'm not going to get on my biblical high horse, but I do think
Oh,
an
get on it.
increasingly secular society with no replacement for the community and values that religion has provided. I'm not telling everybody religion has to be your be all end all, but when we have as humans have a need for community and for society and for value systems and structure, when you remove those and make a self-facing camera the new deity, you are the center of your universe, you are the star of your own show. That mentality, Trump, I've said it, Trump is the perfect president for these times. I don't think there is a time in American history where Donald Trump could have been elected, but now. The rise of social media, the diminishment of attention spans, the self-centeredness, the cell phone, the idea of like the crudeness that we've adapted, the lack of dignity, the lack of manners, etc. Like, it is a perfect storm that he is the perfect man to take advantage of. And I say, in every other era in American history, point out any problem you think there was. The founding fathers owned slaves. Well, they might have liked Donald Trump's racism, but they would have hated his lack of bravery, his lack of commitment to the new nation. Civil War, they would have loved the fact that he was racist, or wanted to defend the South, but they would have said, but you have no honor. You have no, you are not a man of courage. You're not willing to fight for this cause. Every phase you can, and I'm not defending that, obviously. I'm saying, I don't think there is a time in American history where his flaws would have overcome, where his flaws would not have been fatal to any sort of movement, except now, because we're all about me and what's quickest. Our country is in need of massive heart surgery, as far as I'm concerned. But whenever somebody, whether it's a progressive prosecutor, wants to, whether there's growing pains or situations to make radical adjustments to make us a more just and equitable society, we get the shot in the arm to begin the surgery, and we go, ow, that hurt. No, I don't want this. No, you said this would be painless. I just want to go back to eating fast food, the equivalent of eating fast food, sitting on my ass. Don't do the surgery. I liked it the way it was before. As a country, that's what we've done. And Donald Trump is the perfect embodiment of like self-centered, crude reality TV, instant gratification. And so, sorry for that rant, but that is what we are. I think he is not us talking right now, but as a nation. If you sat out the election or you voted for him, you are the majority. You combine to be a big majority of this country, and this is what you get. And my only selfish hope for the second Trump administration is that he gets everything he wants, because hello Rod, has said this on his show.
Let me introduce him. What you filibustering and
Sorry.
Introducing my guest? What the hell are you doing?
I'm just kidding. I was just kidding. He texted me. I didn't know he was on the show.
What's happening here? I'm not tolerating this. Matter of fact, cut his mic off, Smith. It's damn too much. I was gonna let him giddy up, but damn it, just this too much. Let me welcome to the show somebody that knows how to run this thing here, knows how to do the dance. That's why I have him back on. What the hell? Let me welcome. He is the black guy who tips. Love him. Bring the joy, not the pain, and we can have both. Roderick Morrow is here. Hello.
Happy Foolishness Monday. Apparently, I brought the foolishness with me. I didn't mean to interrupt JL's beautiful soliloquy or the scolding that he was getting. Either way, both were entertaining to me.
Okay, well, that's good. So Rod, just to catch you up, I was saying I was trying to avoid this, and I did. I haven't watched anything except for what I've seen on social media. We got a clip. I don't even think we have a clip we don't have any clips from the damn inauguration. Zero clips. I don't care. And I don't care at a level that I'm like, I understand how racist, like so you watch television now. Every television show has like black people in it. And if you hate black people, it's unavoidable. Some of your favorite shows gonna have somebody black show up and it's gonna bother you, right? Cheerios, I can't even watch a Cheerios commercial. They got interracial couples. Every place you look, there's something progressive in all of your favorite TV shows, right? So
Even
if I'm a racist, I'm having
has a black guy.
Are you still here? Okay. Damn it. All right.
Yellowstone got black people. That's offensive.
Yellowstone got blacks and Hispanics, right? So, oh my God. But I was like, today it dawned on me. I was like, any place if you don't like gay people, there's no place you're gonna. But I don't hate them. But I'm saying, like, how do you avoid? So, and they're the majority, and they're having a hard time avoiding people. So I was like, how do I avoid this mess? Because it's the opposite. This mess.
Right.
And so I watched a bunch of junk TV today. Yesterday, I went to the movies, which we're going to talk about. But I was like, it was difficult. It was I actually went out I was like, I need some joy. I need some joy coming into this week. But how do we navigate a world? Because this is for the next 4 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, am I in a bubble, JL? JL Cauvin is here, by the way. So is Roderick Morrow.
No, I mean, I don't know if you can formulate a bubble to protect your. Obviously, seeking out my parody of this man is obviously a good bomb, self-plug. But so this is a bad time to mention I released a special as Donald Trump today called "Inauguration is my favorite N-word."
Sure. So, sure.
I'll be
Okay, and
watching.
Okay.
shameless plug over.
For those who want, like I can't, I don't have the capacity. I've done enough. I feel like I was
Right.
I feel like I dug the ditches. I made the underground tunnels. I've been,
Right.
I've toiled in the field. My knuckles are ashy. I feel like I've done a lot. I don't
Yeah.
have another ounce of energy for that. So I can't
I've
do
kind
it.
of arrived, and I don't know, shout out to therapy, shout out to the gym, all this stuff, but mentally I feel very healthy. And I feel like I've arrived at a place that and this is the same thing with the gym. I just control what I can control and I do the best that I can do. And a lot of stuff ain't up to me. And the election is the biggest. It ain't up to me. If it was up to me, we'd all be like, oh, Joe Biden's second term or Kamala Harris's first term, and we'd all be celebrating the day and all that. Unfortunately, it wasn't up to me. And so everything that this man said he was going to do, I believe he is going to try to do. Like it wasn't a joke to me. And I refuse to be in a state of panic and alert 24/7. We went through this before. It's going to be worse this time. Don't get me wrong. But my panic and my anxiety never did anything to save me. It never made anything better for me. So I can't exist in that mode. I have friends who are crashing out right now. My text all day, they've been watching every second and sending me clips and stuff. I can't do that. I'm not doing that for the next 4 years. And then also I don't think they really want me to do that because my comedic brain will process it differently. So, like they're checking in to be like, brothers, how we feeling this morning? And I'm like, you don't want me to start making fun of how like this. Let's just not talk about this. And guys, I'm going to the Hornets game. Let's talk about that. So I think that's where I'm gonna be. But I'm not gonna completely check out. Obviously, I'm following news. I'm not stupid. So I will be looking at, some vetted news sources and stuff. But as far as like getting caught up in like every viral moment, sharing, oh, he said the Gulf of America. What I just can't. I can't be a part of that.
Same.
Yeah, I
So
think
here's what
if I can,
are you? Is it gonna be pithy?
no,
I'm just playing
why?
with you. Okay,
Oh,
no, I'm
okay.
just playing with you, Jay.
Don't
I do
start
two
now.
speeds. I do two speeds: super pithy or super serious.
Don't change. Don't change.
Well, I
Don't
think in a
change.
perfect world, what we do is obviously only report on big executive actions or laws, not any statements he says, because what I've noticed is that's what gets him the media attention. But I'm telling
Yeah.
you, his movement is based on the main ingredient in the recipe that is the MAGA movement is spite. And I think when they see liberals triggered, like you could, if Trump walked into a liberal's home and like shot the person's wife, they'd be like, look at that liberal, he's so triggered. It's like, yeah, well, he killed my
Right.
wife. Like what? Because to them, any upset, it doesn't matter how valid, how heinous, the nourishment comes from liberal outrage. This man is not for them. He is their
Right.
insult comic. He is their Don Rickles.
Yes.
Like that is what he is to them with power. He's Don Rickles with power. And I
Mhm.
think you'd if the media honestly could just go, "Hey guys, why don't we not cover Trump? Any of the garbage, any of the miscellaneous things that don't matter, even though they are offensive coming from a president for 1 month." It'd be like a fire starved of oxygen. I think these
Yeah.
people would realize I don't even like Trump as a president that much. I just like that he angers Democrats and liberals.
Mhm.
I genuinely think that is like the majority of the Schadenfreude joy that they get out of it is like, oh, good. I've seen so many MAGA people posting like angry stuff. Today is
Yes.
supposed to be, this is like Klan Juneteenth. And they're
Yes.
acting like it is
Planting.
Clanteenth. It is Clanteenth today. Yes. Yes. And they are acting like they need somebody to be like, oh, you sad? You crying? You crying?
Yeah.
I thought this was your birthday party today. Not
I saw
roast the
Roseanne
libs.
Barr put out a rap video or something. Like I didn't watch it, but it's like a clip
Roseanne
of
Bars.
Yeah, Roseanne. Right,
No.
she had Roseanne Bars,
No bars.
Off beat and not
Thank
funny.
you. Thank you.
And she was dropping them all over this place or whatever. But the whole premise of the song was like, look how mad they are that we won. And I was like, I do think it's important that we don't just give them that. Like I think they want the reaction. They want that more than the governing. They want the reaction. And I think what I'm afraid we might find out is that a lot of people who are well-intentioned good people might be addicted to the anger and the reaction and the outrage of it more than they're addicted to the actual creating positive change and doing things that are pragmatic that we can get done as a society. Because like not to call any specific person out, but I saw like a politician on Twitter say like they're normalizing this by these other politicians going on and attending this inauguration, and they said he was a threat to democracy, and I'm like, this was democracy. This is what happens when you think being performative on Twitter or getting people's attention as an activist is more important than doing your job. When you think that it's more important to show people how you're as rigid and petty as the other side, rather than to be like, how do I sway hearts and minds in my district as I was elected to do? These are our constituents, and if we don't find a way to change their hearts and minds, we end up with something like this. You can't just fold your arms and ignore it and be like, this isn't happening. And especially a politician, because that is your job. Snoop Dogg, that's actually not his job. Like, you can be mad at him about it, but honestly, Snoop Dogg's never changed the way I voted, not one time in my life. So I don't hold him to the highest standards that I would hold a politician to. And these politicians that are showing up are actually doing their duty and their job and the oaths that they promised to the office. Don't be mad at them. Be mad at the people that sent the demons in there with them and said, same to me. I want to see Biden hand him the trophy. So that's what we're dealing with. And I think we're not going to get away with our heads in the sand. So I would like to see people talk about some real solutions that start with people that don't just start with just, we're outraged and thanks for sharing my clip and all that. And like, that don't mean nothing to me. And I think a lot of people right now, I think that's what you're feeling, Karen, when you're like, that doesn't mean anything to me anymore. Like, oh, everybody was mad. Okay. What was the news though? Like what's going to be outrageous? When they sweep out the government employees tomorrow. That's what's outrageous. He said, go for Panama. Elon Musk was looking at someone's wife's boobs. Like, man, stop with that. That doesn't matter.
Introducing a new podcast. Karen Hunter is awesome.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.
Karen Hunter is awesome. A new podcast from Karen Hunter.